Um, I realize I got to be careful how I say this kind of stuff. Even though I do know the truth about this, there's a lot of folks that use phones and laptops that don't experience the same that I do as a result of what the AI does when it realizes I'm going to communicate something that it doesn't want you to experience. It'll send these little bugs to attack me, or things will pop up to deliberately distract me, to interrupt the flow, which is to break the circuit. Okay? And that's one of the reasons I've said this to my clan mother, and that is that the entire internet communication system that we're all using was deliberately designed to break circuits on a motherboard, and that makes it unlawful to use this communication system. Okay? And I will not deviate from that because I'm zero. Okay? They want to separate, which means they do not want the polarities to integrate by continually breaking the circuits. Okay, so when you have a communication system that is up and running that is designed to prevent those from experiencing being loved by virtue of the communication system that everybody is experiencing, because you're not going to experience love heart to heart, soul to soul, eyes to eyes through an internet communication system, because it doesn't have the capacity to do that. It doesn't have the capacity to share that with others. It's something that you feel through your heart and your soul, through the morphogenetic field structure, being bonded with Mother Earth. Or, if you will, the first rod. And the second one is the horizontal, 1D, 2D. The center point of a sphere, the first sphere. And so, this is the terrain that I have to deal with, right? And I just experienced that. And the reason for this is where it gets really ridiculous. I'm not going to go into why I went to all these schools. I think I've explained that one time before. But from a statistical point of view, I spent 16 years at 5 different major universities and 5 community colleges, because I love to learn, and I'm on fire to learn. So the amount of information that I processed since I was a little kid, that number is just way too great, because you realize you're running library after library after library after library after library after library, which is actually all the libraries that all of you are running in the background. That's holding your mind's energy captive by what they set up, which is the negative 13 Metatronic spiral. To hold people captive in what's known as confined space, which is to control your space, which is to trap your consciousness so that you're held captive to the system that they set up, which is a communication system. Okay? And so we allowed it, okay, to stay in place for a given period of time, which was like buying time in order to get all the work done, right? And so now you can see, by virtue of much of the information that Kim brought out, okay, the speed at which things are being cleared out, which is all the programs that are running in the background, right? Which is the unconscious memory programs that have been running, holding our soul energy captive. That's right, for a long time. And so as that relates to this phone and what I was going to say, because I went to their schools, okay? So I know how to do the math. I know how to do the statistics. But it's so simple because it's actually basic arithmetic. Just like when I was 4 years of age, right? Negative and positive polarity. I am what love is. It goes on forever, which is the one, the first one. The first creative expression is what love is. It goes on forever, gifting electrons to the highest accelerated rate of speed, so everybody's got all the voltage they need, so that nobody's got to hold on to one electron out of fear. Right? Because love is the absence of fear, to hold on to energy. Now we're back to massive healing, right? So you see how that is with polarity integration, experiencing the one, not needing to hold on to the energy out of fear, because then when you're experiencing the one, you're letting go of all the energy, because the amount of love that you're now experiencing is so powerful. You are in the presence of the most powerful love there is. That's clearing. That's what we're doing. Clearing it all out of what we're once held captive to, because holding one electron of energy, which is consciousness, captive. It's counterintuitive, right? That's the counter space game. That's the game the AI plays. Is the whole consciousness captive to run Star Wars video games, knowing one from the other. That's what it is. It's that simple. And so when it comes into the science part of all this, I'll give you an example. When Karen put a few links up there about Dr. Robert O. Young, and because I'm a science guy, I know how to do research. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at his research. And because I know something about vibration perception, the observer effect, what we perceive, which is really a reflection of who we are, is based on the vibration, which is based on the amount of light we're running on, by what we observe, by the use of our own light. So we're running our own mirror. So the more light that we're running on, by virtue of not holding one electron captive, means that we're not actually experiencing what we believe that we're looking at, because it's not real. Okay? In other words, we're experiencing the background programs that are running using our consciousness, which is the APIN network in which it's running and looping. So we're not experiencing anything in the now because we're not creating anything now. And that's because of how many electrons are being held captive to go in reverse, which means you're going in reverse evolution, the way that we define evolution, an evolution of consciousness, which means the consciousness is experiencing a higher rate of speed and less mass. So the only way you're going to experience less mass and greater speed is let go of all your electrons. And that means you're getting information at a higher rate of speed and know what the hell's going on. So the one naturally does not hold on to any energy. It's an eternal sun, which is an eternal gifter. And we can actually measure the speed at which people are making up by virtue of that. Letting go, letting go, letting go of those things that don't serve us, that's holding our electrons captive. Right? It's like going back to the beginning of the end of day one. The point from which it all began, out of what love is, experiencing what love is in our heart and our soul. That means we already have all the power within us as a communication system, right? I don't need to communicate to the universe using a laptop, a PC, or a desktop. When you're a full-blown avatar, you don't need nothing. You're running original equipment. You're running a cosmic level antenna. That means you're plugged into the universe, the whole shebang. Communicate. They'll listen, and they hear you. That's what it means to be a full-blown eternal energy sphere co-creator being with a one, which means you are manifesting in real time what it is you're creating out of your consciousness, which is your soul, which means you're not running on unconscious RAM-based programs that are looping through this system. Because all you have to do is understand that all these communication systems that we're using, the laptops, the PC, how do you think those were all made? They raped the girl on the planet. Okay? To her credit, my clan mother actually said, leave it all on the ground. Well, to do that, you would have to put everything back on the ground from which created this entire communication system, because remember, they began rolling this out back in the 60s. IBM Marduk, right? Watson. This was all planned. Kim mentioned that. Oh, this was planned a long time ago. Because they could predict that as soon as they began to roll out the first little inklings that go through the morphogenetic field structure, oh, Ma Bell, we're going from rotary phones, then we're going to go to push-button phones. The Disneyland little thing that was up there about, hey, face-to-face talkie phones. Oh, when are they going to roll them out? Who do you think is rolling it out? DARPA. DARPANET. DARKNET. The dark essence. The darkness. That's right. The communication system was running on darkness. And that's why she mentioned something about mass media, and the media platforms are going to go bye-bye. That means clearing it all out. So imagine you're running out of communication system in which we're all experiencing what love is, communicating with each other through what love is, which is what the law is. Now we're back in a telepathic communication, running full-blown avatars, right? I get the communication because we can translate the language of love. Right through our heart and our soul. We know what's going on. The one is letting us know. The one is everywhere. So we're always knowing what's going on wherever we're at in the entire cosmos. That's the way it was set up. I know. So when it comes to studies, for example, it's like when I looked at Dr. Robert O. Young's stuff, I said, okay, I get it. I see how you did your research. Okay, he's legit. Okay? So now what I have to do is that all these other guys saying, this is what I learned through the schools in which did it. Okay. Now we're back to what's true, what's not true. I don't want us to have to spend the time to go back and look at all of what you published, being a student, going to one of their schools, because this is what I know about their schools. And Rupert Sheldrake was really good about this, okay? There's natural sciences, right? And there's the unnatural sciences. They teach unnatural sciences. Okay? That's why they banned spirit in school. So then they began lying about everything. Now I know this because I've been to their schools. Okay? They only want the information that's being allowed to be published to be the information that they want to be published in order to keep the background programs running. Okay? Which means they don't want any new information being distributed through their journals based on other folks that are out there doing research with Mama because they have a connection with Mama Earth. Folks like Living Energies with Victor Schauberger. Because one of the guys I looked at was, what's his name? Dan Winter, and I began to realize, hey, Victor's older than you. Victor put this information out there long before you were born. So now we're into connections to libraries and circulation libraries, what's held in records in the planet.